Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Ghost Stories Told from the South. I am your host, Stephen LeBooth. Hope everybody's having a fine Hallows. Well, it isn't Halloween, but hope everybody's having a great spooky October out there. Hope you haven't been listening to too many stories around the campfire. You know, how some of them stories can get you. Well, it is that time of year. It is spooky season, ladies and gentlemen. And what sucks about it, it don't last long. They're already getting stuff moved out of the way for Christmas. And Halloween even isn't gone yet. It ain't even here yet. Well, technically for me it is. But I hope everybody's having a good week. Hope you've been having fun celebrating Halloween. Wherever you are or celebrating the holiday. So, yeah. I just love Halloween. I love spooky stories, but I got some good ones for you today. Gonna finish up the Baker house, and then I have I got two more stories after this, and then I got a little treat for you. Figured since it was Halloween, or the season for Halloween, I was gonna go over the Transylvania, the Dracula's castle. So, it ought to be a good show, man. Thanks. I want to thank you, everybody, for the reviews you're giving me. Good views out there. You keep downloading. Man, last month you almost broke the old record for downloads. But let's see if we can do it on the spooky month. All right, I'll stop being a ding-dong and get on with some stories, I guess. What do you say? All right. Like I said, we're going to finish up the Baker house. Okay, this starts back. Last time we left, where was it? It's talking about when this girl's husband and her lived there, and how the object fell right around the same spot where the sliding doors were. I think that's where a collar fell or something. I think that's where it was. But it's them two still live in the house. And this is, of course, her talking about their experience there while they lived there. Okay, our bedroom was upstairs on the south side. One night while alone in the big house, I woke up and I was sure I had heard something on the stairs. The dogs were outside. One of them started howling. Then I saw a shadow along the wall of the stairwell raising toward my bedroom. I was absolutely terrified. I could not reach the phone. I could not say anything. Just lay there. Once again, I closed my eyes and kept them closed. I heard the footsteps enter my bedroom, and I heard the footsteps enter my bedroom and approach my bed, and then I felt the hand gently touch my shoulder. I opened my eyes and jumped up very quickly, but nothing was there. I don't know what the neighbors thought, but I immediately got up and turned on every single light in the house and left them on until daylight. The bright light of the day, I did my best to convince myself that I had another nightmare, like the one 30 years earlier. So, she's had experiences, but she just kind of blanks them off as, oh, it was a bad dream. The same event happened to me at least six to seven times during our years in the house. Always with some result. Someone would slowly climb the stairs, walk into my bedroom, place their hand on my shoulder, and then disappear. Unvarying to say the least, still I never told anyone that, not even my own husband. There were times when I felt someone was watching me. I felt I felt whatever it wasn't exactly friendly. I did not feel it did not feel potentially violent as much as the next person, but it's almost became a daily feeling. Every Everywhere I went in the house, someone was watching me, and I became extremely edgy and frightened. Afraid to leave and afraid to stay. Then, for a period of months to a year, there would be no feelings of being watched, and I would relax. Huh. So apparently, this stuff kind of came and went. It never really did continuously keep on, which is cool. I could handle that. I don't know if I could handle it happening to me all the time. Okay. The worst incident of all happened in the spring of 1976. I was alone late one night, and one of those storms blew in with its usual violent winds, rain, hail, lightning, and thunder. At the time, there was an electric transfer. Oh, okay. At the time, there was an electric transformer in a pole about on a pole about 20 yards east of the corner of Lamar and Columbus and Columbus streets. That would blow every time there was a drizzle or, and of course, the bad weather. It blew it, of course, in the storm. And through the storm, I had no lights. That would be kind of spooky, being in a haunted house like that and having to go through that. That'd be kind of freaking weird, man. It scared the shit out of me, I'll tell you that right now. Then I was upstairs in the bedroom, thunder crashing, lightning flashing, and blowing something fierce. Suddenly I heard loud pounding on the door that leads from the basement to the hallway downstairs. This particular door was also securely locked, and there was no way out of the basement except for the house via the hallway. I first tried to tell myself that the wind was causing the doors to rattle, but a rattle did not sound like that. Someone or something was loudly and furiously pounding on the door from the basement side. Thinking about it now sends chills up and down my spine. I managed to get it together. I managed to get to the phone and contact my aunt next door. She immediately knew I was frightened out of my wits and said she would meet me at the gate. At the gate between the two properties. I ran downstairs in my nightgown, not even stopping to get my raincoat or rain shoes. The second I paused, the door pounding stopped. I went through the kitchen, locked the kitchen door, and started across the screen and back porch to leave the house. But as I crossed the porch and neared the door to leave, pounding started again, louder and more angrier than ever. I ran across the driveway into the gate where my aunt was waiting for me. I can honestly say that I have never been more frightened than that time in my life. I have never been that scared again. I still said nothing more than the storm unnerved me. She never did really tell her aunt what really happened that night. I mean, I would. Maybe some kinfolks heard something before or something. You never know. Okay, here we go. Okay. I was never again comfortable there in the house. A year later, my husband and I divorced, and I left the house for good. I truly believe that the ghost spirit figure that appeared to me in 1942 was that of Charles Baker, and I did not think he liked me one little bit, since no one else that I'm aware of ever saw him. I can only assume that I was the catalyst that aroused his lure. I can still feel the touch of his hand on my shoulder. Ooh, that would scare the shit out of me. That'd scar me for life. Helen's story is very convincing to say the least and can easily be backed by a legitimate timetable. If the ghost of Charles Baker did not return to the house, then the haunting question would remain. Whatever happened to him anyway? Was he upset to be unable to find a familiar surrounding in his loving mother, or was he merely reaching out for help from a time no longer his? Perhaps anything is possible in a house so familiar with tragedy. Mr. Frant died in 1962, and Mr. Font died in 1962. And Mrs. Funk continued to live in the home until sharing it with her niece before moving to the cottage next door. She died in 1980. The old building downtown that brought the Baker family so much success was sold in 1930 to Bowden and Sons and mysteriously burned one Saturday afternoon in 1980. They never figured it out. Well, too, by that time, general stores were kind of not really convenient anymore. People started going to the big chain grocery stores. The present owners of the home, Rhonda and Mitchell Leslie, have lived in the beautiful Victorian home for now 20 years. They are wonderful people who love and appreciate the house and maintain it with much love and respect. They raised 2 sons in the home with no supernatural encounters. Oh, there was one time that one of the housekeepers who spoke little English was very upset and distraught that a ghost or something attempted to push her down the stairs in the 2nd floor. Wow. That's good. Well, at least they don't attack the family. You just don't like people coming in its house. As for Charles Baker, his whereabouts will always be a big mystery, and they were never solved or anything. We hope he finds peace in his life and forevers or whatever. That was a pretty good story. That place is haunted as shit. But the people who live there now have not had any problems, which is good. Except for the housekeeper. He didn't like the housekeeper. Had to wet the old vocal cords. All right. Let's do our second story, baby. Our second story is from Thurbur, Texas. It's a ghost town. Today, the only thing that remains of the old mining town is a very impressive smokestack towering next to a row of aged brick buildings, on one of which houses the Smokestack Restaurant on Interstate 20, about 75 miles west of Fort Worth. During the late 1800s, Thurber was a thriving coal mining town with a population of approximately 8,000 souls. Wow. Unlike most towns, especially in Texas, Thurber was constructed and owned completely by the Texas and Pacific Coal Company, which was headed up by Robert Dickey Hunter and H.K. Thurber of New York. So that's why it got the name Thurber. That's crazy. Little bitty old town like that has ties to New York. Hunter constructed the town while dealing with the distant Union Miners Association with the Knights of Labor, who had been working in the mines there since the mid 1880s. He fenced off the property owned by the company, construction and constructing an entire town and a mining complex complete with schools, churches, saloons, stores, houses, and 650 seat opera house, and a 200 room hotel, an ice house, and an elephant plant. The Union was not allowed inside. Eventually, uh, the miners' strike ended, and the families moved into the company-owned town, along with their lives. Walter was 82 years old when he shared the title from the safety of his stores within the quaint village of Strawn. So he came from Strawn. Strawn's located just down the road from Thurber. Walter said, "I remember the night well. Always have, always will. A boy never forgets the odd things of life, and the one was surely odd for me. It was the beginning of the Great Depression, which hit Texas harder than most other states. Many grown, able bodied men were out of work and taking any job they could to find, so it was rare that two boys could find work. By, but they did. Walter and Frank would walk down a local Mexican restaurant on Saturday nights, one of the few establishments left in Thurber. After closing hours, assisted the owner with rolling tamales. One particular night, Walter said, it was very clear with a beautiful full moon hanging low upon the summer horizon. The two boys finished their work at the restaurant about midnight, and after collecting 50 cents each, they headed home down an old dirt road that paralleled a site of railroad tracks that took coal cars to the town of Mingus, a few miles north of Thurber. Old Mingus, bunch of cedar choppers there. He said, we came to the place where we left the road to cross over a fence in order to get to the house. In those days, many fences had stilts built upon them, steps on which one could easily climb over and back down without having to climb the fence. We were approaching the still when the ghostly thing appeared. Here came this beautiful silver-looking thing. He went on to say, my brother looked at it, screamed, and ran as fast as his feet would carry him towards the house. Unfortunately, the long way I followed, but he was bigger and faster than me, leaving me further and further behind. Once my brother cleared in a comfortable distance from the ghost, we slowed down, then we finally stopped until I caught up to him. Both of us out of breath and scared out of our wits. Only then could we gather enough courage to look back and see if it was gone. Something chasing them there, buddy. The boys, going the long way home to avoid another face-to-face with the creature, immediately went to their father and told him of the frightful event. Walter asked his papa if someone was pulling some kind of prank on them. His father replied, nope, it was no prank. He often explained to the boys that what they saw was something rare indeed, something that very few people in Thurber area have ever encountered. He told them the story of. Sorry. He told them the story of the of an incident that took place in Thurber years before, when it was a booming community. A carnival had made a stop in the village, and there was a beautiful woman with the carnival who would sing with a voice even more beautiful than she was. She was tragically killed by a local resident who would become obsessed with her. They're not became obsessed with her and eventually killed her. And sorry, I missed a spot. Where was I? Okay. The problem was the problem is Mines, the company. Wait a minute. This did both sides? That tripped me out. Kasha went to the. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. That's copied on the back and it flipped me the fuck out. The woman, he said, avenges her murder by returning to the streets of Thurber. Okay. After that night, Walter said his brother refused to speak of the incident and did not want anyone to know of their encounter with the ghost. Walter went to say, if people say that I did not see a ghost, you will tell them to come see me. I saw it with my own two eyes, and I know what I saw. Rumors of the haunting floated in and out and around Thurber for a few years. However, Walter personally knew of only one other person who claimed to have witnessed its ghost. The man, a friend of Walter's father, told Walter of his family of the night he was walking towards his mother's house, just about the same spot where Walter and Frank saw the ghost. He claimed on a moonlit night he came upon the ghost of a woman sitting on the stile still on the fence. He said he was somewhat under the influence of strong drink when he approached the woman, thinking it was his mother. Suddenly, he said she began to raise up into the air before fading away right in front of his eyes. He then said he'd never sobered up so quick in his life. Since then, the road no longer exists. The pasture has claimed it and the fence has been gone for many years, as has anyone who may have encountered these thing. Walter unfortunately passed away in 2006, taking the other information of the ghost with him. The ghost of Thurber, Texas was the ghost town of Thurber was once a thriving place, teeming with immigrants, workers, mostly Italian, Hungarians, Mexicans, trying to make a living for themselves and their families. The great flu pandemic of 1919 took the lives of at least 20 of the children and several adults in Thurber. Other sicknesses and plagues that the immigrants town other sicknesses and plague and diseases plagued the immigrant town as well. A ghost in Thurber could be just about anybody. Walter had many fold memories of growing up living in Thurber and strong communities. The coal mines are long gone, but reminders of their existence still do the countryside around the area in the southwestern Palapina County. No record exists of the murder of the beautiful carnival queen, but that does not mean that the event did not happen. Such as a person in such a transit profession could have never been reported as the carnival moved on to another town. If ghosts still exist here in Thurber, the only live people in it would find to hunt would have to be the Smokestack Restaurant, which has reported their own accounts of ghostly happenings over the years. But if you want to see the ghost of the carnival woman, you have to go stand in the field where the road was once, and you just might see her. All right. Okay. I think we are done. That was a pretty long one. That's the ghost of Thurbur Town. And there's a town right down the road from it, too, called, I think, New York. New York, Texas, or something by Thurber. And it's a little ghost town, too. Well, all right, fellas and ladies. I think we'll get ready to do the last story, which is Dracula's Castle. Don't be scared. All right, this is going to be. Is that louder? Yeah, I turned my fucking mic up. On the last fucking story, I finally turned my mic up. I'm like, oh, maybe that's why I kept having to turn my earphones on. And again. Okay, we're going to go over Dracula's Castle. Purchased on a cliff is Bran Castle. Is home to vampire myths and Bram Stoker's character, Dracula. The fictional character, described as a Transylvanian bloodthirsty count, is often associated with the Willingshan ruler Val the Impaler. The ruthless despot who enjoyed impaling criminals of his time. The Bran Castle is strikingly similar to the Dracula's Castle described in Stoker's novel. For Halloween, Count Dracula is inviting you to host to the hottest party of the year. Party until dawn when wicked fairies, vampires, and local ghosts show off their dark side. Let's see, just some pictures of the impaling. Oh, that was of Bram Stoker's castle. And I kind of did haunted places in Transylvania. I'm sorry about that. I should have read my notes better. Oh, okay. Well, anyways, this next story is of the Chihana Monastery. All right. I had to clear my throat there. I'm going to play a little song. I like having some background music while I do my talking. The Chihana Monastery. And this is located in... It really doesn't say these well, the Turks. Wherever the Turks are from. Okay. The next place is a 17th century monastery and a site for paranormal activity. Deserted after an attack by the Turks, the Chahen, the monastery was left in ruins before it was even constructed. Locals hurled its bell into the river, and the only ones who found their refuge inside the cursed church were those suffering from the plague. Locals say the bell's sound can still be heard from the water during a full moon night. In the memory of all of those who had died in between the monastery's walls. Makes you wonder how long that place has been there. Bet it's been there for a long time. All right, next we're going to go over. Oh, this is a big forest. The Bla, Bladu. I'm messing this up. Anyways, it's a forest near Burcharst. And I believe all these towns are in, all these places are in Romania. Anyways, magic rituals keep the mysterious witch's pond alive. And you ought to see it. It's just a little video thing. I mean, you couldn't jump across it, but it's freaking small. You couldn't dive into it. Also known as the place where Vad the Impaler was decapitated, the locals is a small place filled with sorcery. Witches perform their rituals through each year during the Zanelli celebration in June. Moreover, the place never dies, never expands, and it's never dry. There's always water in it, and it always keeps the same shape. Even the animals disliked its place, as they never drink water from it. So it's a cursed forest where a bunch of these witches get together and do their stuff. But you ought to see this pond. It's like little bitty, man. It's crazy. I don't know if I'd do any outside ghost hunting. It'd scare the crap out of me. And on some of these names, I'm sorry if I'm butchering them again. I didn't think how, me doing Transylvania or Romania in their country and their language. Which ain't nothing bad. I just don't know it. But I bet you if I did, I'd love it. Okay, this is the Lalua Hastui Castle. Was the meeting place for a daughter lost too soon and a grieving father. Bogdan Hasidu built the castle in memory of his daughter, who died at 19 years old. Her father erected the house according to his daughter's wishes, which he received during like seances and stuff. Quickly, symbols adorn the home, and every night Lula Hestu can be heard playing the piano to her father's applause. That's weird. Yeah. That's really weird. And I think that's it for some of the places I got in Romania. Oh, well. Here's some more on the castle. Man, I didn't know this thing printed on the back, too. It's more castles. Okay, this is the mysterious Carven Castle hides doom stories. Allegedly, the castle's dungeon is the site where Vad the Impaler was imprisoned for years, which caused the Vavidito to go insane and his thoughts to become darker, increasing his desire for blood. But he was not the only one held captive in the castle. Legend goes 3 Turkish men were captured and asked to dig a wall. They were promised that they would go free once they found water. The 3 souls, however, found their end as captives, and apparently they wrote on the walls, "Oh, you now have water, but you don't have a heart. Wow. Wow. You now have water, but you don't have a heart. That's fucked up. He got them, didn't he? Sons of bitches. Trying to see what else is on the backs. Yeah, I didn't know my printer started doing that. Okay, I guess we'll do this last one. It's called The Devil's Precipice or Persip Recipe. Blah, blah. The Devil's Recipe. Are you a treasure hunter? Then try to break the spell of the Devil's Recipe then try to break the spell of the devil's the devil's prophecy hidden future. In the village of Cosmanelli, there is a place haunted by souls of the dead who are protecting in a buried cursed treasure. Beware as you might frighten creatures to find yourself wandering through the old abandoned house. This is a creepy ass looking house, and it's called the Devil's Deal. So yeah, that place looks pretty nice. Pretty nice. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this show today. I'm sorry if this one sucked, but I got some announcements to make. I'm going to start after October. I'm going to finish out this month doing one every week. But what I'm going to start doing, I'm going to start doing two shows a month. I've got this show and another show I do, and I do shows that was with my kids too, and it's kind of getting a lot, so I'm cutting everything back to 2 shows a month, not 1 a week. So sorry guys, but you might get some treats, like in between. I'll have more time to work on some special stuff or something. So yeah, really, I think I need to do that because I think my shows are really starting to suck ass and are not doing that. They're doing good. I'm getting good downloads, I think, and all that. I'm getting 5-star reviews, sometimes 3, 4. I've got everyone from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it don't matter what you give me. Just give me a review. Give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube and follow us on Spotify, Stitcher, and all them other groovy places. But I figure if I do 2 a month, I can make a lot better show for you guys and have more entailed stuff to talk to you about whichever place I pick. So I think it'd be good for all of us. And who knows, I'll start getting some stuff together and built up. Excuse me. Bam. I can get more stuff out there and start a Patreon page or something. So keep that in mind, though. After this month, I'm just going to be dropping 2. But on some months, I know there's 4 weeks, I might do a special and throw one in the middle or something. You never know, man. But yeah, you guys listen to us. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Stitcher, Pandora. We're pretty much anywhere and everywhere you can get podcasts. So check us out. We're called Ghost Stories from the South, guys. I'm your host with the most, baby. Count Dracula. I'm Stephen the Impaler. Stephen LeBooth Impaler. That's what they call me. But yeah, check out my other shows. Borderline Texas Trash. Another show's called When Sports Collide. I talk about football and wrestling. There's another one, What's Really Out There, with me and my daughter Steph. We talk about just unsolved mysteries, paranormal stuff, a little UFOs, conspiracies, mysteries, all the good stuff. And then there's Wrestling 101 with Jackson, where me and him talk about wrestling and try to get more people interested and all that kind of good stuff. But you guys check them out. Y'all guys have fun spooking people, telling scary stories. Oh, and another thing, please send me some of your ghost stories, and I'll tell them on the podcast or something. But thank you guys for the downloads. Thank you guys for the kindness. We will see you guys later. Have a spooky, spooky time.